The last one's called vertex form. Class, how do you know it's a vertex form? One set of parentheses. Okay, it is a trick. Someone just asked me, did I go trick-or-treating? Here's the trick. Why it's a trick, or it's deceiving. X minus h, or whatever it is, it says to the power of 2. So really, how many sets of parentheses is it? But I can only combine them if they're the same exact number. Does that make sense? So you'll know it's vertex form is because they're exactly the same. You can write 2 of them. That's what it means. Okay, in vertex form, it does have different letters called H and K, which I'll explain in a second. And if you notice, it has a lot of the same characteristics as their previous ones. Something that's different is the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is your H value. How do you find your H value? Yesterday, we kind of talked about how it's the, you need to have a minus sign. So this one will be easier. This one is a positive one. Did you see how I did not highlight the minus sign? Because your axis of symmetry is here. This one, it's not positive 4. What's the opposite? Negative 4. Notice here I'm going to highlight the, not the negative sign. And on your graph, you'll see a line going down, x equals negative 4. What's the opposite, class? Negative 2. Again, I'm not highlighting the first subtraction sign. And there it is on my graph at negative 2. That's the axis of symmetry. The x-intercepts, you'll need to set y or f of x equal to 0. You'll need to solve for x, or you can use the quadratic formula. For example, in this problem here, to find where it crosses the x-axis, I make it equal to 0. To get rid of the power of 2, you're going to take the square root. Class, how do you get rid of the power of 2? You're going to take the square root. You have 0 equals x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides, you have x equals 1. And you'll notice at x equals 1 on this graph, this one, the graph does a bounce off the x-axis. Okay? You'll notice that in all of the problems, they have an a value that's in front. That's called the concavity. Here, my value is a negative, opens down. Negative 1, opens down. Pay attention. No number. What's the number, class? Positive what? 1. Opens up. Okay? Okay, here's the hardest part about the vertex form is finding the vertex. Remember, the vertex is either the maximum point or the lowest point. Okay? So, if I give you, if I do this problem here, my a value is negative 1. In vertex form, it says f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. It must have a subtraction sign. Class, what must it have? But that previous problem has a plus. So how do you change the plus into minuses? You have 2 negatives. X is the opposite of negative 2. Because class, what's the opposite of negative 2? Positive 2. Pay attention here. You can use your fingers. Okay? Watch as I do that. I cover up the parentheses because it's the same. I cover up the x because it's the same. I cover up the subtraction sign because it's the same. My h value is negative 2. The k value is on the outside of the parentheses in the power of 2. That's negative 4. So what does this negative 2, negative 4 tell us? Wow. And once you recognize it's the vertex form, in this problem you're going left 2, down negative 4, and that's your vertex. Okay? A common mistake is for the y-intercept, you make x equals 0. The common mistake is they think that this negative 2 is where it crosses the y-axis. Does this graph cross the y-axis at negative 2 here? No, it doesn't. And that is vertex form.